All right, we're back for video for chapter 4, video 23, I think. All right, we got cut off on that last one. And what I was trying to do is I'm trying to fix my syntax errors. My syntax error was that the name of the control is not the same name as I had here. So I got to make sure everything's right. So let's look at this if statement. Now you remember that this is a expression, and an expression is made up of 3 parts. The first part right here, and we're comparing it with a comparison operator with the second part here. And this whole thing equates down to either true or false. It's a Boolean expression. So what I'm trying to do is say within this list box courses right here, I've got a property called selected index. That means if I select one of these courses in here. So for example, if I select the first course, now the selected index, let's just go down here. And selected index doesn't show within the properties here. It's a property for coding, but we're not actually having a property within the control. So this is something you almost have to remember. It's called the selected index of a list box. That means that the first index, the selected index, is 0, and the second course would be 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm asking here is if it's -1, meaning nothing has been selected, then don't proceed. Don't proceed if nothing's been selected. But if something has been selected, meaning that the selection is anything other than -1, that means when you first start the program on, that by default the selected index is -1. So as soon as the user selects one of these, that means that you've actually selected and it has a value. All right, so that means that's why this is a good logical operator, this not, because it's counting everything but. It's excluding everything but -1. So by default, it would be -1. If I clicked on any of these, it would become a integer value, starting at 0 upwards. All right, so if that becomes true and I selected, let's assume, for example, I selected the introduction to programming. What do you think the selected index would be for introduction to programming? Well, it starts at 0, 1, 2, so that would equal 2. But it really doesn't matter what the number is because this expression just equates down as long as it's not -1. All right, if that's the case, what we're going to do is take that selected item, whatever it happened to be, and the selected item is different than the selected index. The index is a number, the item is the actual course name. So if I selected Introduction to Programming, that would be Introduction to Programming, and I'm going to convert that into a string. Now it already is a string, but I'm going to convert it to a string. We have a variable called courses, and it's a string, so that's going to equate. That's good. And then we're running it through a switch, which basically says if the course is equal to Introduction to Programming, let's check for the case. In the case, it's Introduction to Computers. No, that's false. Introduction to Programming. That's true. If that's true, then take the text box output, the label output, and put CSIS 1175 in there, and then break out. So this output right here should probably be as part of this right here. So because this is really the output. All right, so I hope I didn't confuse you on this one because it is a little trickier. Basically, we're waiting for the user to select a course, and if they select a course, let's find the item that they selected. Once they find the item that they've selected, let's look for that item and output the results. All right, so we'll have a look at the next one in the next video.